Okay, here's the alleyway, Stevenson Street. Now, this is how you're going to be able to find the valet parking for the Four Seasons Hotel. And the only way to get to it is if you're coming up northbound on 3rd Street. I mentioned 3rd Street earlier because 3rd Street is a one-way street going northbound towards Market Street. It's essentially southbound on Market as we were going westbound. I'm not to confuse you, but when we get back up to Market Street, we are going westbound. So I showed you that 3rd Street is south of Market. But if you're driving to find the valet parking to the Four Seasons Hotel, you need to be driving up northbound on 3rd Street. And then just before you get to Market, on the left-hand side of 3rd Street, you'll see Stevenson Street. This alleyway right here is how you enter the valet parking or find valet parking for the Four Seasons Hotel. So let me show you a close-up shot of the valet entrance to the Four Seasons. So as you can see, here's the entrance to the valet garage for the Four Seasons Hotel. So if you don't want to have to spend 10-15 minutes driving around in circles before you find the valet for Four Seasons, then you want to be aware of where the actual valet garage is in relation to the main street address. So if you're driving to the hotel, you'd want to plug in 221 Stevenson Street in your GPS to get directed directly to the valet and not their street address, which is 757 Market Street. That's the main door entrance. Now, just really much outside of the Four Seasons valet parking is a public parking garage. It's called Jessie Square, and it's the public parking garage for the Contemporary Jewish Art Museum, Urbana Center, the Moscone Center, and the Sony Metreon. I mentioned these attractions at my financial district film shoot. I'll put a link in the description for that as well. But if you ask them where the parking garage is for those establishments, here it is right here. It's the official address, 223 Stevenson Street, in this alleyway. So you plug this address, 223 Stevenson, into your GPS, and this is how you'll find the public parking garage for those main establishments. Again, referring to the Contemporary Jewish Museum, which is on Mission Street, the Urbana Center on Mission Street, the Moscone Center on Mission Street, and the Sony Metreon and SF MoMA Museum. This is where the official parking garage is. Let me show you what the public parking garage looks like. So here's the public parking garage for the Jessie Square garage, what it's officially called. And again, it's for those 4 main establishments, or 5 actually, public attractions that I mentioned earlier. Now, those of you that are driving in the city, I'm going to point out a few things about Market Street that you need to know. And that is the significance of not being able to make left turns on Market Street. No left turns are allowed if you are driving on Market Street, either going eastbound or westbound on Market Street. As you see there in a sign, exception of Muni. And of course taxis from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Other than that, you are prohibited from turning left on Market Street. Now, the other thing you want to be concerned with if you're driving in the city, especially on Market Street, is the signages here that indicate what you can and cannot do while driving on Market Street. Like, for instance, at the top one, paratransit and taxi loading only at all times. This particular area is only available for unloading and loading of passengers for taxis. The second thing is no stopping between 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. daily. Now, that means no vehicle can park here during that time span every day of the week. And then the exceptions are the 6-wheel commercial loading vehicle at all other times. So no vehicles during that time at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. But all other times, only commercial loading vehicles can load during this time, and it's a 30-minute limit. and that's for all the shops that are in the area for their ability to access their facilities, their products, through a commercial truck vehicle that delivers their supply. So they are only allowed to park here during the times other than between 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. daily, and they only have a 30-minute limit for their deliveries. Now the third sign emphasizes no parking between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. and that's primarily for street cleaning every day, including holidays. So make certain that you adhere to these parking signs if you decide to drive in the city, especially on Market Street. Now across the street is where the Four Seasons main door entrance is located at 757 Market. As I was telling you earlier, if you're driving to the hotel, make certain that you identify where the valet parking is, which, as I said earlier, 221 Stevenson Street. Now Marshall's, located at 760 Market, is a brand name chain retail clothing store focusing in on accessories, shoes, clothing, and more. And here's a nice little street clock that's like the clock that's at the ferry building at the beginning of Market Street that indicates you the current time. Now this is going to be located at O'Farrell, Grant, and Market Street. Farrell and the Grant, which cross Market Street. 760 Market Street, official address. Now right at 767 Market Street, you will find the entrance to Yerba Buena Lane. I featured Yerba Buena Lane at my Financial District film shoot. I'll put a link in the description for it, where I emphasize these unique restaurants that are inside this alleyway. Again, another alleyway where you're going to find lots of neat restaurants and lots of places where, if you want to know where the locals go, a lot of the places where locals want to go are within these alleyways. And Yerba Buena Lane is one of them. Essentially, it crosses between Market Street and Mission Street. But anyway, I'll put a link in the description for you to check out my analysis of Yerba Buena Lane during the Financial District film shoot. Yet another bike rental facility area or stop where you can rent bikes and travel on Market Street. This one is located at 767 Market Street, right in front of Pete's Coffee. Now there's a Verizon store that's located at 768 Market Street. So those of you that have a cellular service with Verizon, here's one of their stops, one of their stores. Here's yet another entrance to the BART system. This one is the Powell BART station, located at 785 Market Street. And like all like the Embarcadero and the Montgomery Street BART station, they run about 2 blocks in length. So I'll show you a few more entrances and exits to the station. This one on this side of the Market Street is closed, but of course on the other side of Market Street it's going to be open. Now the men's warehouse store features formal men's attire like shoes, coats, accessories, and also tuxedo rentals. Now Ross Just for Less store is a chain clothing store for inexpensive clothing items. And you'll find them at 799 Market Street, right on the corner of 4th and Market.